Hi everyone, today I'd like to talk to you about word problems and creating a verbal model with our equations on our word problems. Word problems can be tricky. The hardest thing about them is determining what the English word translated into mathematics is. So there are a few rules and steps that we need to take. The first thing we need to do is read the problem entirely. Don't try to solve anything when you've only read half of a sentence. Get a feel for the problem. Look for the key words. You might want to highlight those words. Then get organized. Figure out, what is this problem asking for? What information do they give us, and what information do we still need? Pick variables or letters like X and A to stand for the unknowns. And draw and label pictures neatly. Know exactly what the problem is asking for. So let's take a look at some key words. If our problem has increased by, or total, or sum, or even the word of, we want to look for these words. Per. So as you read, look for some of these words. Let's take a look at a problem. Sarah had a blast at her birthday party. She took her friends to the skate park. It cost $3 per friend, and the cost for parking was $20. Sarah spent $44 total. How can she determine the number of friends that came to her party? So let's go back and let's use our rules. The first thing we want to do is look for those words. We read it through once, so now let's look for our important words. We have the word per, the word total, the word and. These are all very important words. Then we want to pay attention to, what are we looking for? What do we need to find with this problem? She needs to determine the number of friends that came to her party. So that's going to be our X. We need to know what friends are. We're looking for the number of friends. All right, so here's what we need to do to solve this problem. The first thing we need to do is create a verbal model. Then from that, we're going to create an equation and then solve the equation. So let's do our work. Okay, we need to create a verbal model. Let's go back and highlight our words again. So we had the word per, because it's $3 per friend, and the cost of parking was $20. Sarah spent $44 total. All right, and remember, we're looking for the number of friends. The number of friends. So that's going to be our variable. So let's define our variable. So we know, let's write down what we know. We know that it was $3, so she spent $3 for each friend. Okay, and we know she spent $20 for parking. And we know that her total was $44. Okay, and we know we're looking for the number of friends. So we can say the number of friends, let's just say F. So F equals the number of friends. And that's what we're trying to find. So let's write a verbal model. Basically, if we have $3 per friend and the cost of parking is $20. So remember this word per? We need to pay attention to this. What do you think that means if we have $3 per friend? Right, we need to multiply $3 per friend. So every friend we have to multiply by 3. And then the word and, what do you think we're doing with that? If it's $3 a friend and the cost of parking, right, we're adding this. So basically, to find our verbal model, it's going to be the cost per friend plus parking equals the total spent. And that's our verbal model. It's basically taking what we have in the sentence and writing it out in a short word form. And we can completely take this and convert it into an equation. 3 per friend, and remember our friend is an F, so the cost per friend, so $3 per friend, plus our parking, which is $20, equals our total, which we know is 44. So now that we have a verbal model created, our equation created, we now can solve our equation. Remember, to solve a two-step equation, we want to draw a line from the equal sign. Our goal, remember, is to find the number of friends, so we need to know what F equals. How many friends came? To solve a two-step equation, we always start with the addition and subtraction first, and then we do the multiplication and division second. So if it's adding 20, we want to subtract 20 from both sides. That cancels out, leaving us with just 3F equals 44 minus 20. Okay, now 3 times F, because remember per means to multiply, so 3 times F, the opposite would be to divide by 3. So that cancels out, leaving me with just F, and 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we know that Sarah had 8 friends come to her party. Because if I put this back in, if we plug this back in, and we put an 8 here, as 8 times 3 plus 20 equal 44? Sure. So we know we did it right. Let's review on how we do this. We want to read the problem entirely. Okay? Don't start solving anything if you're halfway through. Look for your keywords. Look for per, for and, of, things like that. You may want to highlight them. Get organized. Write it out. What do you have? What are you looking for? Put in some variables for your unknown numbers. And then figure out exactly what am I solving for. And once you know that, the rest will come pretty easy. And remember, go through and highlight those words like we did here. And once you highlight them, you can plug them back in. You can know that this is multiplying and is adding, and total means to equal. And you can see the equation solving itself out. Remember, a verbal model is just a shorthand way of writing our equation using words. So the cost per friend plus the cost of parking equals the total spent. I hope this has helped, and if you have any other questions, contact your teacher. I'm sure he or she would be glad to help you further. Happy solving!